Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. We are going to experiment with another alternate card this evening. I have got a basic white card base, 5 1/4 by 4 piece of polished pink, and a 5 by 3 3/4 piece of basic white again. And I realized I didn't write down what size this paper was, so let me just excavate my thing here. So it's 5 1/4 by 4 for the polished pink, and then it's 5 by 3 3/4 for the basic white. So we should be okay with that. So sorry about not having those on a sticky note beforehand. What we're going to do with this one though is, you know, I'm partial to a good stencil, and these ones came out really nicely from the kit, from the die cuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this over here, and I'm going to use the envelopes that I've already cut the edges off to use, just to block and mask so I don't end up getting ink where I don't want it. So what I'm going to do, this is going to take a little bit, so you might want to grab yourself a cup of tea and or coffee. I'm just going to keep in just adding the color. You can go as heavy or as light as you want, and just being careful. I'm just kind of putting it down. I don't want to push too hard because the edges of the stencil will move. So that's got one done. So there we go. So I'm going to turn this around and do another one like that. So again, just blocking off the other openings. You can use sticky notes if you want to do this. I just thought, since I had these envelopes that were going to end up in the garbage or using them to hold little bits of something or other, that I would just use them for this. So I'm just putting as much or as little color as I want on those there. So now I've got 2 leaves like that, and then I'm going to come in, I think, and do another small piece over here and come to the edge so that I don't have, maybe I'll do it this way, and then I can pop this like this and this like this, and when I come to do the top, I will just move my mask around. So there we go. And I'm going to come in with the fresh freesia as well, with a different stencil. So I'm just adding that little touch of color in. It doesn't look like a lot until you actually have taken this stencil away. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to come in like this. So I'm going to blank that off there and that off there. And then I'm just going to keep adding it in. Go. Just adding, there we go. Just that little bit. Isn't that pretty? Just like that. And then it's going to go all matted up like that. And isn't that fresh and fun? I like that a lot. We're going to continue to add to it. That's all the polished pink I'm going to do. But I am going to come in with the fresh freesia, and just debating which one I should do with the fresh freesia. I think I might actually do this one here and just kind of come in and overlay it a little bit. Maybe I'll do it up here. So let's see how we can mask this off for this one. I'm just going to lift this up a bit like that. And again, I'll simply move the mask away when I need to go somewhere else with it. Now my fresh freesia is very, very pale. I've ordered a re-inker for it, but it doesn't have a lot of oomph to it. So it's a good one at this point to kind of blend right over top. You can see I'm going right over top of the other stencils. So it's going to be just a little bit of subtle color in there like that. And let's pop this one here like this. And again, we're going to just mask off the edges. And then I'll move it when I get up to the top here so I don't end up kind of coming over the edge. So like I said, a little bit of time going on this one here while I do this, but I kind of wanted to do it while I was doing the video, because sometimes I go ahead and do things ahead of time and then I forget that somebody may not have seen the technique or may not know exactly how I'm getting the look. So sometimes I just go back a little bit and just show all the steps. So I'm going to move that off to the side, and I have to decide what I'm going to do with this now. Don't really know, but I'm thinking what I might do. I'm wondering if I take some of the greenery, like this piece, kind of put it over the middle like that, or even like that. Let's try this. I'm trying to decide if it's going to make it too busy or not. And I think it almost will. So I am going to go ahead and stick all this down. Now, this was already on another project and I didn't like the project, so I took it apart. So recycling the paper. So I'm going to glue this down. Line that up and drop it down. And then I'm going to glue this down like this. Just lined up right there like that. And I'm going to get a scrap of basic white. I've already been playing on here, but I don't know that I like that on there. So we're going to just see what we can do with a set of dies like that. And what have we got in here? We've got You Deserve the Best will fit in there. And what's that one? So I think we're going to put the You Deserve the Best because it will fit in there. So when you've got longer of the photopolymer, sometimes they can wiggle a bit and then you don't get a straight image. So I put it face down and then I just pick it up with my block. And that way I'm not accidentally manipulating it as we go through. And I'm going to take my polished pink and I'm going to do this like this and stamp it down. So You Deserve the Best. It's just nice and quiet and subtle. This is a nice, soft, subtle card. You could put more on here if you want to. I don't particularly think it needs it for my card. You, of course, can do whatever you like with your cards because they are just that. They are your cards. So I'm going to get another piece of fresh freesia and just trim a piece off here. And I'm going to run this through the machine. Sorry, this video is carrying on just a little bit longer than they normally do for me, so I apologize for that. But you get to see me having a play and working through the creative process. So this is going to go down here like this, and I am going to put a sticky note on it because the piece of paper is relatively small and I don't want it to move. So then I'm going to put my You Deserve the Best down. You could do the matte for this in polished pink as well if you want. Because I've got the fresh freesia accents in the card, I'm going to do fresh freesia. And then run that through the machine, and then we can flat mount the greeting onto the mat, and then I'm going to dimensionalize everything else, like dimensionalize the whole thing onto there we go, that's that one. And That's that one. So let's just take our adhesive, flat mount this one, making sure we're straight. There we go. Am I straight? No, I'm a little bit crooked. So I'm just gonna lift this up a little bit and give it a bit of a wiggle. Now I'm too far the other way. There we go. Okay, dimensionals. We need large dimensionals, which I already have out. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. Now, you could tuck some ribbon behind here or some baker's twine or linen thread if you like. I'm not going to. I really quite like this. Just soft, 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 and subtle. I really like this. Just nice and soft. I could put a couple of these little blingies on if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to leave them off. This one just, it's so quiet and so pretty. So we're going to call it a day with that. Again, you can use whatever colors you like, mat it however you like. These videos are just a jumping off point for your imagination. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more alternates.